Before we go any further, let's be real. Sometimes what looks like support is actually control. And we all know that moment when someone suddenly shifts into coach mode or slips into therapy speak or becomes the overly wise friend who means, well, what we were looking for is someone to listen to us. Maybe you've been on the receiving end of that and it felt off, a little yucky, and maybe even throw up in your mouth worthy. Or maybe you've caught yourself doing it, creeping into helper or expert mode, not because the other person needed it, but because you were uncomfortable with what was happening between you. There are so many sneaky ways we redirect emotional attention back onto ourselves without even realizing it. But today, we're going to talk about three coaching style patterns that are the hardest to spot because they sound so kind, so supportive, and so helpful. And today, I'm going to show you how to spot it in your own voice and in other people the moment you feel yourself slipping into coach mode or after that happens to you. Address it when someone starts coaching you without permission. Even coaches, even your therapist, pretty much your best friend, even the most self-aware people who do a lot of development work do this. If you've ever wondered, is this actually support or is this someone managing my feelings again? This video is going to change the way you communicate with them or the way you listen. You share something tender, maybe you feel overwhelmed, confused, or lost, and suddenly the other person is launched into fixer mode. You didn't ask for advice, but somehow the conversation has turned into a mini coaching session. Let's call this friend Rowan. Rowan means well, but instead of meeting your humanity, they start giving you communication frameworks, emotional analysis, better ways to word things, mindset tools, or spiritual reframes. And you're sitting there thinking, I didn't want a class. I wanted you to listen to me. It was really that simple. I'm going to hold space for you. On the surface, it looks like right. Underneath, it's actually, I can't sit with your feelings, so I'll organize them. Give you this idea that I'm actually going to be there for you. Your emotions trigger this discomfort in them. Instead of staying present, they regulate themselves by managing you or making it seem like they're there for you. As someone who grew up people pleasing or not even realizing I was people pleasing, this dynamic is familiar. You start to internalize my feelings must be wrong. I must not be making any sense. I must not be doing healing correctly or doing this right. They must know better than me. And now what was originally your moment becomes their moment. Before we go deeper, we need to name something important. There are deflective listening habits, empathy blockers that almost all of us do. They're sneaky because they sound supportive, but actually pull us out of presence and redirect the moment back onto the person who's not talking. And these are the two big ones that show up as coaching, therapizing, or wise friend energy. So I'm going to start with holding space. When I use the word holding space, I'm not talking about what holding space really is. It's a felt holding space, feels good. A holding space can look multiple ways. This one is subtle and praised, but the reality is, what does it actually look like and feel like? So let's say it looks like presence on the outside. It looks like stillness, eye contact, maybe nodding, a calm face, regulated emotional, external presence. But inside, the person who's listening is emotionally gone. They're frozen, shut down, overwhelmed, not actually with you. When a frozen listener tries to help, it can turn into sympathy or pity, consoling, or shutting the conversation down, minimizing your feelings, changing the subject. And this isn't malicious. It is a survival strategy. We've all learned in some way, but it leaves the other person feeling abandoned mid-sentence. So if we're going to go into how this is happening to you and what you can do for yourself. And also, are you doing this? So we'll go into number 2, framework focus, the second thing that appears. Your focus instead is how to fix somebody, framework focus, instead of presence in the moment. And this one is classic coaching versus control version. It's really a lot more obvious. It happens when someone hears your feelings, but responds like your emotions are a problem to be solved. It shows up as correcting your story, diagnosing your patterns or somebody else's patterns in the story, interrogating you, asking you a ton of questions to then be able to do the other things, offering tools, teaching frameworks, maybe spiritualizing. That really matters who you're talking to, or storytelling to prove a point regarding their tools or how it works or that it worked for somebody else. This is when your vulnerability becomes a workshop. But tone sounds loving and wise, but it's actually emotional avoidance wrapped in expertise and brings the attention back onto the other person. Even though I had mentioned the first one, which was almost like stonewalling, but disguising it as holding space, you wouldn't think that was bringing attention back onto them, but it actually is. And we're going to explain why later. Both of them are ways of bringing attention back onto the person not wanting the listening. So these two empathy blockers, the frozen space holder and the framework fixer, are the main reasons why a conversation suddenly feels controlling, minimizing, or disconnected. They might feel slightly different, but you somehow need to overextend or do more for the other person or prove something. We misinterpret these patterns as support because the words sound caring, and they do come from a caring place. We have learned these patterns to deal with other people's emotions and therefore our emotions in relationship to that. But the body doesn't lie. So that's where we can catch all of this. Let me tell you a quick story because I'm not sharing this from a pedestal as if I don't do this. Recently, a friend was going through something heavy. And before they even finished, I felt myself shifting into coach mode internally. What tool fits here? Or what should I offer? And what insight would help? And oh, I know what they should do or what's going on here. Or how do I make this better? And none of that was about them. It was about me wanting to escape my own discomfort, just being there for them. Because you wouldn't think how hard that is until you do it. And that means being present. I noticed my chest tightened, my stomach clenched, my brain sped up. I paused and I named it internally. Oh, I'm trying to escape this moment by doing my go-to action, my automatic action, which is trying to fix it or coach it or help them. And I realized I need to breathe. I returned to what they were talking about and was reiterating it in my mind, in my own words or their words. That was a way of keeping myself present. And the whole moment shifted. They relaxed. They started to open up. They found their own clarity. And if they were having a hard time looking at me, they started looking at me. I think they noticed something shifted. And it reminded me presence is more healing than anything I could ever teach. And if this is resonating, go download the free confidence toolkit at raylifecoaching.com. It will help you break these patterns and build an emotional capacity for real connection. If you want this channel to keep growing, hit subscribe, like the video, and share it with someone you love. Coaching as control isn't the only pattern. Some of us don't fix, we freeze, like the frozen placeholder pattern. We try to hold space, but really we disappear. This is a misunderstanding of what holding space really is. It's not an external performance action. There are some things you can do to help your external presence, but it's actually coming from inside. It looks like presence, but it feels a lot like a big void. You're the frozen space holder. So you go blank inside. You're like, I don't even know what this person's talking about. I cannot process what they're talking about. You give stillness instead of attunement. A lot of us don't even know what attunement feels like. We think stillness and facial regulation and body external regulation is attunement. We think being actually present in the moment is attunement when there's a lot more to it. This is also a skill, right? To repeat back in your own words what the person's saying as they're saying it, to register. It's almost like you're reading and you're comprehending what you're reading, or you're in class and you're writing it down, or you're visualizing it. It's very similar. When someone's telling you or reading a story to you, it's being able to visualize, feel it, be in that space. If you're not doing that in some small way, then most likely you're not fully there with them, right? You try to look calm while internally you may be spiraling. You try to look calm while internally you're like, oh, and you rely on silence instead of connection. So I add this one because it also can look like somebody who's really wise and very much there for you. And they may do it really well, like all of their external appearance. The person who's wanting someone to listen to them may really feel, and I can tell you what the signs are. We'll do that soon. But they can really feel the difference between someone being attuned and present versus someone who's not. And there's different levels of this. And it also has to do with you. So if you're more secure, you're going to pick up on it quickly. This is about attachment style. So we'll talk about that in other videos coming up in the next couple of weeks. Signs it's being done to you. Their calm feels empty. You're like, a little too silent. I'm hearing crickets. Hello? Is anybody there? You feel alone mid-sentence. You're like, hello? I've done that. You leave feeling like you overshared. You're like, oh my God, I feel like I talked too much. Or you did overshare. They shut down or change the topic. Okay, so this is someone who's gone past the presence. They might be like, I'm done, and then change the topic and be really good at doing. You don't realize it until a day later. And you're like, whoa, you feel lonelier afterward. Like you came wanting connection, but realize every time I come to this person, I feel even worse. And why is that? They seem like they're doing all the great things, right? This is why my containerized tool, which is the fourth tool, the Confidence Coming Out course, it's the 7-week course I provide. And it's the next step within the free version that you get, the Confidence Toolkit. So it's really important. It teaches you who can hold your feelings, who turns them into a project, and what does that feel like? Who freezes, who drains you, and who you can trust with the softest parts of you. In the coming weeks, I'm going to show you how to spot someone's attachment style by how they respond to your emotions. Avoidant, anxious, preoccupied, or fearful, avoidant, insecure people all react differently when you're having a hard moment. And once you see the signs, your relationships will make a lot more sense. So let's get into 3 steps to reclaim your power. They're going to sound really simple, but not as easy as they sound. Number 1, before you share, create a space of consent with yourself first. Ask yourself, is this a listening friend or a fixing friend? Do I want to tell them this thing? Maybe you don't. Maybe you're done. That's okay. And if you do, then practice saying this at the consent container for the conversation to say, hey, I'm wanting to talk about this thing. It's probably going to last me about this amount of time. When I talk about this, I'm not really wanting feedback. I'm wanting you to just repeat back to me what I said. I really want to solve it on my own through that, or just hear back in somebody else's words. Does that sound like something you can do? All of this is preparation for caring for you. But number 3, when someone slips into coaching or freezing, remind yourself, this isn't about me. Tender. It's human. It's also universal. And coaching versus controlling is not about good or bad people. It's about learning survival patterns. If you want to build safer communication and deeper connection, download the free Confidence Toolkit at Real Life Coaching. If this helps you, hit subscribe and share this with someone who needs it. Tell them I'm practicing better connection. I know you are having some issues with X, Y, and Z. You want to check this out? This is what really worked for me. Thank you so much for joining me today, and see you again.